The Huffington Post picked up on the story that I think was broke originally by Rob Maness's people.
Mm-hmm.
So the Washington Post, right? Would you say they're conservative or liberal?
Let's just say the best case scenario you could make for them is that they are left-leaning.
So
I don't think you could make the claim that they're moderate on any level.
So they're left-leaning, and they said things about Mary.
Yes, on their WashingtonPost.com, under politics, the lead story here, byline, New Orleans. This is the Philip Rucker report. Claims that Mary lives in a stately $2.5 million brick mansion she and her husband built on Capitol Hill. I mean, that's the opening sentence. It goes downhill from there.
Holy cow.
However, the Democrat does not have a home of her own. She's registered to vote in a large bungalow in New Orleans that her parents have lived in for decades. So anyway, maybe times are so bad that Mary's had to move back home.
Oh, maybe so.
And apparently, when the Post reviewed her federal financial disclosures and local property, that's what they found. She has been claiming domicile at her parents' address in New Orleans.
In New Orleans, but yet she throws all sorts of parties and other events in Washington. And on those invitations, it's like, join us at our home.
Yeah, this is what's weird about it. Now, this isn't without precedent that you know, people that go to D.C. often have a residence up there, but it's not their permanent residence. And this is many what people think is the problem with Senator Landrieu, that she's gotten herself so out of touch with Louisiana people, Louisiana values. Let's put it in perspective. Spending $47,000 on chartered flights when $47,000 is more than what a family of four typically makes in the state, and then just sort of brushing it off. Well, you couldn't even go to LSU for that.
Yeah, she doesn't.
Yeah, but I know a lot of families that you could help out with that. So anyway, she started on that path. But look, the problem with it is, if you go back and look at, say, former from Indiana, Senator Richard Lugar, he lost his re-election bid in 2012 after reports that when he went back to Indiana, he didn't have a house, so he had to stay in a hotel.
Wow.
Another one, Pat Roberts from Kansas, a Republican, is getting heat this year because he doesn't have a home of his own in Kansas and is listing a donor's house as his voting address.
Wow.
So this is something that could again, you know, it's been tough to be Mary Landrieu the last couple of months.
But
every time we turn around, she's stepping into it.
Yeah, and you know, this whole thing about domicile and residence and stuff, you know, there's so many definitions of what.
Yep.
But it just, they built the house. They didn't even buy the house. They built the house.
They built it.
What do you say? That's my summer home in Washington, D.C.? I don't think so. And you know what's really interesting? I was shocked to learn years ago that many congressmen or senators don't actually have, you know, a residence, but maybe 2 or 3 of them will be roommates in an apartment because it's cheap. Because rents are so high there anyway, or property values are so high, that 2 or 3 congressmen or senators will actually room together. And you think, that's kind of weird. But
but you know what? On the state level, lots of people go to Baton Rouge and share as roommates all the time. Well, you're there just temporarily. Now, here's the thing, because our reporter Zucker followed this up, the Washington Post, you know, they have the resources to follow things up, went around to some of the neighbors in New Orleans to see if they ever see Mary Landrieu at home. You know, for example, if people came by your house, they'd see you shooting dogs, pooping on your lawn, me cursing out people for running over my mailbox. One of the people who'd been there, they believe, for 40 years said, I've never seen her come for more than a day or two. She visits, but she doesn't live here. She lives in D.C.
Man.
She might come visit every so often. Now, here's the question, and we raised this when this issue first broke last week. We had Colonel Maness on describing it, and that was this. Could Mary Landrieu get a hunting or fishing license in the state of Louisiana? No. But she can run for U.S. Senate?
Because you got to prove residency to get that license.
Hold on a second, man.
You got more stuff?
Something doesn't make any sense.
Okay. If
you can't get a hunting or a fishing license, but you can be no, come on now. That doesn't do it. That doesn't do it.
All right.
Now, one person, they followed it up with another person right down the street who actually had known the family before for at least 30 years, says, you know what? I don't think I've seen her in 16 or 18 years.
So she doesn't go down to the friendly A&P or Schwegmann's or something like that.
I mean,
I got it. If she comes back to shop, she'll want to go to Schwegmann's. They haven't existed in years.
They haven't existed. That's how. Yeah, she comes back in town. I can't find K and B in Schwegmann's. Mary, they've been out of business for a long time.
All right, John.
Okay?
We're gonna have to take a break.
Yep.